Hey everybody, this is Karsten with Top Go Productions, and we have a 1v1 Commander gameplay for you with Kyle playing Tasigur the Golden Fang and myself playing Anafenza the Foremost. Kyle won the roll and decided to go first. Kyle played a Bloodstained Mire and passed. I took my turn, played a Treetop Village, and passed back. At my end step, Kyle sacked Bloodstained Mire to fetch up Overgrown Tomb and put it into play tapped. He played a Drowned Catacomb as a land for his turn and cast Demonic Tutor to fetch up a card. He passed. I played a Command Tower and cast Sylvan Library on my turn. I passed the turn back. Kyle played a Forest for turn and cast Ashiok Nightmare Weaver. He used his +2 ability to exile the top 3 cards of my library. On my turn, I played a Godless Shrine untapped, taking 2 damage. I tapped out to cast my general, Anafenza, and passed. Kyle played Cavern of Souls on his turn and named Shaman. He then proceeded to cast Tasigur, exiling both cards in his graveyard. He finished off his turn by exiling the top 3 cards of my library with Ashiok. I played Volrath Stronghold on my turn. I then cast Dismember for 1, losing 4 life and killing Tasigur. I tapped the rest of my mana to cast Kitchen Finks, gaining 2 of that life back. During my combat phase, I attacked Ashiok for 4 damage. Kyle played Urborg Tomb of Yawgmoth on his turn and activated Ashiok, using the Planeswalker's +2 ability once more. He then cast Crucible of Worlds and passed his turn. I played a Verdant Catacombs as the land for my turn. I went to combat swinging at and killing Ashiok, while putting a +1/+1 counter on Kitchen Finks. I passed. Kyle played Steam Vents and then decided to end his turn. I played a Murmuring Bosk on my turn and cast Erebos, God of the Dead. I then attacked with both of my creatures, getting Kitchen Finks another +1/+1 counter and hitting Kyle for 9. At the end of my turn, Kyle cracked his Steam Vents and took 1 more damage to search for Watery Grave and put it into play. Kyle played Tectonic Edge for turn and exiled the rest of his cards in his graveyard to help him cast Tasigur. He ended his turn. At the end of his turn, I cracked Verdant Catacombs and found Savannah and put it into play. I played no lands on my turn and went to combat, attacking with my Kitchen Finks and hitting Kyle for 5. I passed my turn. Kyle also missed a land drop in his turn and cast Training Grounds. He ended his turn. I played Cavern of Souls as the land for my turn. I then tapped 3 for a Hero's Downfall targeting Tasigur. In response, Kyle used Tasigur's ability, but ended up only putting lands in his graveyard. He then cast Stubborn Denial with Ferocious and countered the Hero's Downfall. I attacked again with my Kitchen Finks for 5. Post-combat, I played Oracle of Moldiah and revealed a Vault of the Archangel, which I failed to play for some reason, and passed. Kyle simply played Maze of Ith and ended his turn. I played Vault of the Archangel on my turn and proceeded to activate it to give all my creatures lifelink and death touch. I attacked with Anafenza and Kitchen Finks, which got another +1/+1 counter. Kyle used Maze of Ith to remove Kitchen Finks from combat and activated Tasigur. I ended up giving him the Stubborn Denial back. Kyle did it again, and I let him have Crop Rotation. Kyle took 4 damage, and I passed my turn. Kyle played an island from his graveyard thanks to Crucible of Worlds before passing his turn again. I played no lands on my turn and activated Vault of the Archangel once again. Before my attack step, however, Kyle cast Cryptic Command to tap out my creatures and to draw a card. I then cast Kasali Pridemage. As my turn ended, Kyle used Tasigur's ability. I let him have Ensnaring Bridge. Kyle played another island on his turn and cast Ensnaring Bridge with 5 cards in hand. He ended his turn. At the end of his turn, I used my 1 leftover mana to sack Kasali Pridemage and destroy the Ensnaring Bridge. I played a Sandstep Citadel as the land for my turn. I again activated Vault of the Archangel to give all my creatures lifelink and death touch. Before combat, Kyle activated Tasigur's ability. I let him have Ensnaring Bridge again, which you will see was a big mistake here soon. I attacked with all my creatures, putting a +1/+1 counter on my Oracle of Moldiah. Kyle mazed my Kitchen Finks and blocked Anafenza. Before damage, he activated Tasigur twice. I let him have a Toxic Deluge and a Crozen Grip. Damage went through, taking Kyle down to 2 and bringing my life up even higher. I passed my turn. Kyle top-decked and cast a Damnation on his turn. Kitchen Finks returned with Persist, giving me 2 more life. Kyle ended up casting Tasigur. He played an island for turn and ended. At the end of his turn, I drew 2 cards and lost 4 life with Erebos. On my turn, I cast Vindicate, targeting Tasigur. Kyle activated his ability and I gave him Vampire Hexmage. He then countered the Vindicate with Stubborn Denial. I then cast Sun Titan, returning Kasali Pridemage to the battlefield. At my end step, Kyle activated Tasigur yet again, and I let him have Preordain. Kyle played a Verdant Catacombs as the land for his turn. He cast Preordain and chose to send both cards to the bottom of his deck and draw. He went to combat, swinging with Tasigur. I blocked with Sun Titan. He then cracked his Verdant Catacombs, going to 1 life, and getting a Forest. He then cast Eternal Witness, getting Damnation back, and proceeded to recast the Sweeper, clearing the board once more. Finally, Kyle recast Tasigur again and passed the turn. I didn't play any lands my turn and cast Athreos, God of Passage. I followed that up with a Demonic Tutor, fetched up and cast Gaddock Teeg. I ended my turn. Kyle played no lands in his turn and cast Serum Visions. He then cast Pernicious Deed and went to combat, attacking me with Tasigur. I blocked with Gaddock Teeg and Kyle passed the turn. I played a Bayou on my turn and cast Thoughtseize. I had Kyle discard a Force of Will from his hand. I then cast Beast Within, targeting the Pernicious Deed. I recast Gaddock Teeg and followed that up with a Knight of the Reliquary. Kyle activated Tasigur 3 times at the end of my turn. I gave him Raven's Crime, Serum Visions, and Deathrite Shaman. Kyle transmuted Muddle the Mixture on his turn, grabbing a Snapcaster Mage. He flashbacked Maelstrom Pulse, sending Teeg to my graveyard and then back to my hand thanks to Athreos. Kyle cast Deathrite Shaman and then Vampire Hexmage. He then swung at me with Tasigur, which I chose not to block. He ended his turn. I played a Forest on my turn and recast Anafenza. I then recast Gaddock Teeg and ended my turn. Kyle took his turn, casting Raven's Crime on himself and discarding a card. He then cast Serum Visions. He discarded a land to retrace Raven's Crime and cast it again, targeting himself. He then retraced Raven's Crime again, targeting himself. After going down to 3 cards in hand, he cast Ensnaring Bridge, holding 2 cards in hand and making my team unable to attack. At the end of his turn, I used Knight of the Reliquary to sack a forest and find a Twilight Mire. I drew, looked at my field and my hand, declined to attack with my only eligible creature Gaddock Teeg, and decided to pass the turn. At the end of my turn, Kyle used Deathrite Shaman to exile his Muddle the Mixture and have me lose 2 life. He then used Tasigur's ability, and I let him have Pernicious Deed. Kyle played a Bayou from his graveyard and cast the Pernicious Deed. He then cast Crop Rotation, sacrificing a forest and finding a wasteland. At the end of his turn, I activated Erebos' draw ability 3 times, drawing 3 cards, losing 6 life, and digging for a way to end the game. I played a forest on my turn and cast Castigate. In response, Kyle cast Putrefy to destroy Gaddock Teeg and send him back to my hand. He then cast Condescend for 0, allowing him to scry 2 and to have no cards for Castigate to target. I recast Gaddock Teeg and passed my turn. At the end of my turn, Kyle exiled Condescend with Deathrite Shaman to have me lose 2 more life. He then activated Tasigur's ability twice. I gave him Crop Rotation and Innocent Blood. Kyle retraced Raven's Crime by discarding an island and targeting himself. He then played that island from his graveyard and ended his turn. At his end step, I used Knight of the Reliquary to sacrifice another forest and grab an Overgrown Tomb. I also drained my life again, losing 2 life and drawing a card with Erebos. I played Isolated Temple and cast Inquisition of Kozilek. In response, Kyle cast Crop Rotation, sacrificing his Cavern of Souls to find Bojuka Bog and exile my graveyard. He had no cards in hand for Inquisition to target. I then cast Deathrite Shaman and ended my turn. He used Deathrite Shaman to exile Crop Rotation from his graveyard and had me lose 2 life. Kyle blew his Pernicious Deed for 1 mana, but not before activating Tasigur 4 times, getting a Raven's Crime, Krosan Grip, Serum Visions, and Toxic Deluge. The Pernicious Deed left the battlefield and took my Deathrite Shaman with it. On Kyle's turn, he cast his Serum Visions again. He then cast Raven's Crime, targeting me this time. I discarded a Baneslayer Angel, and after that he retraced the spell and I discarded Deathrite Shaman. He then cast Krosan Grip, targeting my Sylvan Library. He played a forest as his land for turn and passed his turn. On my turn, I cast Mortify on Kyle's Tasigur, not thinking that this would allow him to delve out his graveyard even more and make his Tasigur options even more profitable. I then paid 2 life and 2 mana with Erebos to draw a card. I activated Vault of the Archangel and was now able to attack with Gaddock Teeg and my Knight of the Reliquary since Kyle had 2 cards in hand. He mazed the Knight of the Reliquary, blocked with his Beast token, and I gained 2 life. At the end of my turn, Kyle blew up my Volrath Stronghold with Wasteland. On his turn, Kyle recast Tasigur yet again, delving a ton of cards from his graveyard. He then replayed Wasteland with Crucible of Worlds and used it to blow up my Vault of the Archangel. I played no lands on my turn but opted to pay 2 life and draw a card with Erebos. I then cast Eternal Witness and returned Deathrite Shaman back to my hand. I then cast Deathrite Shaman and followed it up with Duress. In response, Kyle activated Tasigur 3 times. I let him have Garruk Apex Predator, Brainstorm, and Ponder. I discarded Kyle's Repeal with Duress, though Kyle wouldn't have been able to cast it anyway thanks to Gaddock Teeg. I passed the turn. Kyle played Ponder on his turn, choosing to shuffle his deck to find an answer to Deathrite Shaman. He then cast Brainstorm to continue digging. Looking at his hand and graveyard, he had no removal and there wasn't any way for him to get removal with Tasigur, as I would just give him everything that wasn't removal. Kyle decided to just attack with everything, and I blocked with everything but my valuable Gaddock Teeg and avoided killing Tasigur. After this combat phase, Kyle conceded the game thanks to an upcoming Deathrite Shaman activation. This game was played with the Duel Commander 1v1 ban list. If you are interested in playing 1v1 Commander, this is a fun and fair ban list that allows you to play something a little bit different from the multiplayer version of Commander. I hope you guys enjoyed the game and look forward to more gameplays and our other awesome content coming on a more regular basis in the future. I'm Karsten with Topical Productions, and as always, thanks for watching.